Hello, soldiers. It is Moonwalking Kingdom back at again with another magical journey. You have stepped inside the gates, and it is now time for that magical journey. So today, I want to talk about Michael Jackson's love for books. Now, this is a video that I promised for a very long time now, so you're finally going to get it. I really hope you enjoy every minute of this. It's going to be very, very informative, and you might learn something new from this. So before I begin, I'm having just a bunch of links down over here. Make sure that you guys follow my new Instagram. It got disabled about a few weeks ago. So yeah, please follow that page. It'll have all the video updates and everything, as well as exclusive content. Also, I will be working on videos for the Planet Michael project, which is the Michael Jackson theme park project, which I will be really diving deep into. I will also be hosting the Michael Jackson Fandom Awards. The survey link will also be down in the description. Please vote for all your favorites. More information will be at a later date. Also, I am planning another video for you guys, and that is my updated Michael Jackson collection. So stay tuned for all of that. And also, feel free to visit my website, moonwalkingkingdom.com. An update will be coming soon. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that, and let's just get right into the video. So, Michael Jackson loved books. A lot of this is proven with him having so many books in Neverland. And I'm reading this on Quora. I looked this up, and they're saying that Michael's favorite books included To Kill a Mockingbird and The Old Man and the Sea. Belinda London A. Williams, who actually knew Michael Jackson, said this: "I have always said this because Michael kept going back to this book, which is The Old Man and the Sea. And I quote, 'It is defined as symbolizing redemption in a religious context, lost youth, life, and its hardships, where it can be calm, then becomes raging and deadly in an instant, like the sea.'" And then she's saying that Michael also watched the film and the animation. I feel like the reason he liked this book, and based off the descriptions of everything, it definitely related to him, as you can tell. Like when I mentioned hardships and life and, everything, and then it kind of transitions into this, hard time, and I can tell why he liked that book, and I would definitely want to go and read it sometime because of that. Yeah, The Old Man and the Sea was one of his favorite books, as well as Peter Pan by James Barrie. His attorney, Bob Sanger, this is according to Bookster.com, he states that he was very well read, and he read a bunch of different genres of books. And he had over 10,000 books in Neverland. Michael Jackson really involved the Heal the World Foundation as well with his love for books, as he made a book club in 2001 to promote childhood literacy. This next fact is something that I personally have never knew until like a few months ago when I told myself, I need to put this in a video. Michael Jackson wrote a cookbook for children. I never knew this. Illustrated by Chuck Jones, and it was called Pigtails and Frog Legs. He says here, "Think about how necessary it is to nourish a child with a bit of yourself when you use this book. It is full of delicious things. Every recipe has an extra ingredient of caring, because the people who wrote them were thinking of the children. They were especially thinking of those who aren't able to take nourishment for granted because they are poor, sick, or disabled. These are the children who need food to heal. The theme of Heal the World, which has been close to my heart, is the central theme of this book. Also, here are recipes for the spirit. Please make them with that in mind." If you go on that page, there's other quotes that he said regarding, food. And one of my favorite things that he said here was, he's talking about pie and when your mother makes a pie for you. Michael said here, when she cut a slice and put it on your plate, she was giving you a bit of herself in the form of her love. She made your hunger go away, and when you were full and satisfied, everything seemed all right. That's literally me. Every time when I eat something, it's just like, there are times when I'm starving, man, and my father cooks all the time for us. Food is your fuel, and I think that Michael Jackson can definitely change your views on food after reading this quote. I mean, obviously, all of us have a very good relationship with food. It's obvious. The reason I bring up cookbooks is the fact that, he took a part of this book. He also wrote a couple other books. The notable ones that everyone knows, like Moonwalk and Dancing the Dream, which had a lot of poems that he would later incorporate some of those and turn them into songs, which Planet Earth is one of the poems. So if you guys haven't got the chance to read Dancing the Dream, which is my personal favorite book from Michael, to pick it up. It is a great one. There's a lot of stuff to look at and a lot of his creative arts when it comes to his poetry in there. Him as a writer is something that no one really talks about. Well, not like the songs, like him writing the songs and stuff, but actually analyzing it and really diving deep into it. I will do a video one day talking about Dancing the Dream and just kind of going through all the poems and what each of them means and stuff to me, because there's a lot to digest with that book. So I will definitely do a video about Dancing the Dream eventually, because it's definitely a book that deserves a lot more recognition in this community and in this kingdom in general. Do you guys remember that video of Michael Jackson reading a book to his kids?
Now Sammy sometimes get a lift to his school in the car with us. And even though he still can't say my name, when I wave goodbye in a sad sort of way, he waves back to me. And sometimes when we go to the park, I don't play with my friends. I just lie in the green grass with Sammy instead, and we watch the sunshine shimmering on the leaves of the trees. Then we both smile because it's beautiful in a shimmering sort of way.
So that book that he's reading is actually called My Brother Sammy. Some people knew about this, some people didn't know about this. And the book is actually about two brothers. One brother, who has a brother named Sammy, doesn't really see him as the brother he wants because of the fact that Sammy is autistic. And the message is that, according to reviews, it's basically that, we have to acknowledge that everyone is different. And they do end up getting along. The book is not expensive. It is cheap. I think you get on Kindle for $2. Amazon sums it up right with this plot here. Sam doesn't go to school with his older brother. He goes to school on a special bus. They are at cross purposes because Sammy is autistic and does not know how to be a normal brother. Then one day, Sammy's brother realizes that Sammy's way of doing things may not be so bad. Definitely read it when you get the chance. And I will probably be reading all these books when I get the chance as well, because I gotta read more. The Michael Jackson Book Club is a YouTube channel. As I mentioned the other book club that Michael Jackson himself established, but there is also a YouTube channel called the Michael Jackson Book Club. They involve a bunch of authors and they interview them. There's also a Facebook group that really promotes and studies the academic study of Michael. So definitely check it all out. I will be providing more information down in the description. The Facebook group you have to request though, so I don't know how that works. I'm going to try it out later, but based off the channel itself, it looks great. It's very informative, and I really hope that a lot of that stuff involving his academic legacy and writing legacy are spread, like I mentioned earlier in this video. So the last thing I want to do in this video, well, two more things. One of them being talking about an article that I found called 6 Books That Helped Shape Michael Jackson. This is a phenomenal article, by the way. The article states that he visited bookstores and he left with hundreds of books at a go. Also mentioning that he was known for recommending books to friends and family, as well as Frank Cascio, which he brings up a lot of stuff in his book, My Friend Michael. All those quotes are on the article itself, so check them out. The first book that they mention here is Jonathan Livingstone Seagull. So they're basically saying that in this book he gave to Kobe Bryant. They're saying here, Frank said this: one of the books Michael told me to read on that trip was Jonathan Livingstone Seagull. Jonathan, out of all the seagulls, saw that there was more to life than just being a seagull, more than what was right in front of him. Michael wanted to live that way, to fly beyond all expectations, to live an extraordinary life. And living an extraordinary life was something that he wished he could do, and he couldn't. And I think that's obviously why Neverland happened, and that was his recovery point. If you think about it in a psychological way, it's extremely understandable what happened when he got older. The next book is called 48 Laws of Power. So here they mention that this kind of influenced him wearing military uniforms and rarely giving interviews and not appearing in public that much. The next book they talk about is The Power of Positive Thinking, which was by Norman Vincent Peale. In this book, they state that Michael was a believer in the power of the mind reading, and of course, this is another book that he recommended too. This is something I did not know. They're saying that Frank Cascio has dyslexia and did not like to read. That's something I never knew after reading this article. And Michael also recommended this book to him. And because of this, Frank changed his mind. After reading this book, he completely had a different opinion about reading. Next book is called The Law of Success, Napoleon Hill. Taj brought this up on one of his streams, I think. They're saying that in the video, Taj, in the same video, showed a autographed copy of the book he received from Michael. So yeah, all more of this information, I'm just paraphrasing here, based off what I have written down here. So yeah, I really hope that you're getting something in. The next book is the Bible. Not surprised that this is on here, considering the fact that Michael Jackson, especially towards the 90s, he had a very, very strong relationship with God, and definitely said a lot of quotes from the Bible in some of his interviews, and really followed the teachings of the Bible. So this is not surprising to see, and I'm very happy that they acknowledge this in the article. The last book they mention here is the autobiography of P.T. Barnum, and this book I don't really know much about, but based off the article that I'm reading here, you can tell Michael loved it, and he basically gave this to his lawyer, a copy of it, and he said this quote, "Make this your Bible. I want my life to be the greatest show on earth." I mean, not surprised he says that, considering that P.T. Barnum is a circus owner. A lot of more information that I didn't, put in is all in that article. It will be in the link in the description. So check it out. And yeah, now my favorite book of Michael, well, it's not like anything he wrote, but one of my favorite books is the songs, the stories behind each track. And it's basically covering every Michael song that ever existed, only the ones that we obviously heard of. But it's really just talking about the stories behind the songs, the composers, the writers, and a bunch of more information about it. It's a long book. It's like 600 pages. And I still need to really, really digest and read more of it. It's a lot. They go through the Jacksons and Ben and Motown. All that is covered. So check that out. I also need to get a lot of the other books. There was a Blood on the Dance Floor one, and I also need to check out some other books that I don't even know if I even know about. So that's definitely going to be another video where we hunt for Michael books.
This is being filmed after all the other stuff. I guess I forgot to mention one thing. This room is still getting a remodel, by the way. That is still the plan. I just have to plan it out. So, but I did forget to mention the Giving Tree. And the Giving Tree is important because you can tell Michael Jackson loved the book so much with the whole, Giving Tree concept in Neverland. Because, he had a huge tree in which he called the Giving Tree. And he would use this tree to write songs and climb up the tree. And here is a video of him talking about it to get a little more context.
I call it my giving tree because it inspires me. I love climbing trees in general, but this tree I love the most because I climb up high and I look down on its branches, and it gives me, I just love it, so many ideas. I've written so many of my songs in this tree. I wrote Heal the World in this tree, Will You Be There, Black or White, Childhood.
So there was a quote that he said. He states that, "I love to read. I wish I could advise more people to read. There's a whole new world in books. If you can't afford to travel, you travel mentally through reading. You can see anything and go any place you want to in reading." So, what's crazy is the fact, when I was a kid, I was not really a reader. I wasn't really a reader because I thought it was boring and it didn't really interest me. And I didn't really understand what they were telling me. I think as I grew up, I read a lot more. But I feel like reading things that interest me are just better. And I would rather read for fun rather than being tested on it. Which is, I think, the reason I didn't really like reading eventually. Like back then. But I started to like reading a lot more. Which is, something that is pretty rare for me to say. because I mainly read for amusement and not for like an academic reason. Now I read for academic reasons, as I'm taking like a course right now that has like a textbook and everything. But I'm actually like interested and invested in what I'm reading. So I think that's what I want to say regarding that quote. Whenever Michael Jackson would visit a bookstore, he would go to the poetry section. And I'm not surprised by that, because he definitely showed off with his poetry and his creative abilities, like we mentioned in the video earlier. He also would call the bookstore early, so it would close early for him, so he could pick up the books he wanted with some level of privacy, considering the fact that he was the biggest star in the world, and he just needed some alone time in the bookstore just to look around and stuff. So the paparazzi can't get him, all that drama. But there was an instance where he was in the supermarket, but people were there, but he knew everyone, so it made it seem like, okay, this is him as just a regular human being and not in a level of fame, if you know what I mean.
It gave me a chance to see in my way kind of what the real world is like, even though it wasn't the real thing.
Also, I read that he liked talking about sociology and psychology. And this is another piece of proof that he read a lot. This is definitely very, very interesting to read, considering the fact that I am a major in psych, and I've taken a lot of courses having to deal with like how people behave and group memberships and all that kind of stuff when it comes to, you know, human behavior and things that have to do with the mind and all these theories of the world. So if Michael was ever here now, I would want to talk to him about that kind of stuff and, you know, hear his perspectives of everything. But it's beautiful that this video was made. It's beautiful that I've done a lot of research on this. But I really, really hope you all learned something in this video. There's going to be more sources down in the description if you guys are interested in more. And a lot of things I paraphrased, but there's more information so you can get a better idea of what I was talking about in the video down in the description box. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was fun to make. If you guys enjoyed it, please put a thumbs up, like, comment, share, do all that with the soldiers of love all around the world. Thank you all so much for watching. Keep tuning in. You just left the Milwaukee Kingdom. Come back anytime, and I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.